I want to move across Capitol Hill to Chad Pergram now, because once this kind of washes over us in an hour or so, Chad, the focus is going to be on the floor of the House. And Republicans at that point are going to move toward this impeachment inquiry. And how would you play that out right now?
Well, this impeachment inquiry, authorizing this, that's going to pass in the House of Representatives later today. Probably a debate about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and a vote in the late afternoon or evening. This will pass. I'm told they're only going to lose 1 or 2 votes at most. And this is something that people have talked about the power of this subpoena. You have kind of the cart before the horse. This is kind of fire-ready aim, where Republicans were not on board to authorize an impeachment investigation until just the past couple of weeks. As I always say, it's about the math. They did not have the votes. They should have the votes today, and that's why they're willing to go ahead and vote to authorize an impeachment investigation. And that's why once they do that, if they were to reissue this subpoena for Hunter Biden, they have a little more power to get him in. And this is what House Speaker Mike Johnson and James Comer and others have talked about, saying, this will help us do our job a little more quickly, and the White House and the administration and other associated parties will have to comply with those subpoenas. And let me talk a little bit about the theatrics and the geography of Capitol Hill today. Everybody said, okay, we're going to have Hunter Biden come in to the House side. This was going to be a closed-door deposition in the Rayburn House Office Building. All of a sudden, we got word that Hunter Biden and his attorney, Abbe Lowell, were going to appear on the Senate side of Capitol Hill. And I said, well, why does that happen? You might have heard a question at the very end of that James Comer press conference where somebody said, will you ask the sergeant at arms to enforce the subpoena against Hunter Biden? Well, there's a little less weight behind that if you don't have an impeachment inquiry. But more significantly, right now, Hunter Biden is out of compliance with that subpoena for a closed-door deposition. And if he showed up on the House side of Capitol Hill and had that press conference, he might be in a little more House or legal jeopardy there. But by doing this on the Senate side and saying, I'm on Capitol Hill, and kind of thumbing your nose at the House investigators, but being somewhere where the House sergeant at arms does not have authority, that was, some pretty good stagecraft there by Abbe Lowell to do this on Capitol Hill, but not do this on the House side of Capitol Hill and inoculate his client from that subpoena by doing this on the Senate side of the Capitol. As I say, a lot of times the House and Senate, they're part of the legislative branch. They just happen to be in the same building. They are distinct branches of government in the legislative branch here, and the power does not, cross that.
Wow.
So by doing this on the Senate side, this helped them, and the House had no authority over on the Senate side.
Chad, that was
it's really interesting.
Yeah, that sure was it. I mean, to nerds like us who follow this, and the ins and the outs of how everything works. And you're right. That was smart of Abbe Lowell to do that particular staging. Wow.
That's one I hadn't seen before, hadn't anticipated before.
Chad, and that's why we keep you around.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.